I'm ready to go. No, let's skip. Let's skip it tonight. Hey, Tony Dattino, doing my Live with Tony. Again, I'm still struggling a bit with my laptop, but I've got it worked out. My other half has just come to save the day for me, so I've got it working again. And hopefully now we can get to the heart of this broadcast, which is all about handling stress in our lives that we get with on a regular basis. So stress is one of those things that is our emotional response to how we view the day's events. And those days' events can be good, which could be a good stress, right? When we exercise, we're dealing with good stress in a positive way, and it helps us to build our muscles, it helps us to build our thinking and creativity, and it helps us to give our adrenaline rush that helps us to be more creative. Stress in a negative way can be very depressing, can be very anxious and anxiety-provoking, and can cause us to be at half of our best. And sometimes, as we get to our emotional stress levels, it can get us to be angry, or it may cause us to even do something that we regret later on. And so I think about some of the things that go on today, where people get upset about certain things they hear on the news, or listening to a broadcast, or reading a newspaper article, and think about their reactions to emotional stress in our bodies. And sometimes we get violent, and that's not the way to go get it done. So what do we do about this? So I started a two-part series the other day on how do we relieve stress in our lives. And as we were looking and going through this, I took off a few of them, and we talked about laughing and finding a favorite movie. We went through smelling flowers. So what did I do this week? I watched another one of my Naked Gun 2.5 with Leslie Nielsen and OJ and people that just laughing again. So I had 3 of them that had been on reruns, and so from the 70s, no less, and so I did some laughing. Another one talking about flowers. So if you can just take a quick look at this bouquet of flowers, all right? I make a point of going over towards it a couple of times a day and smell the flowers. And there happen to be a couple of roses in there, and it changes the aromatherapy of it. It's just so empowering. Certainly music, and so I have a Pandora, and I was listening to some Eagles music today. And so these are just some of the things that I do in my own personal life that I shared the other day. And then we talked about breathing, where you have 4, 7, 8, right? Where you want to breathe through your nose, hold the count for 7, and let it out through 8. But now comes a couple more I wanted to share with you from this article. It was just loaded with some good information on how to handle stress. So a stay vacation. Now, a stay vacation doesn't mean we got to hop in the car and we got to go get hotels, motels, or resorts in our lives. I live in Orlando, Florida. If I want to stay vacation sometimes when it's a little bit warmer, I might jump in a car and we drive over to Cocoa Beach, and I'll sit under the pier or watch them fish, or watch people walk up and down the boardwalk, up and down the sandwalk, and go in and take a dip in the water, though it's a little bit cold right now. But you can also stay at home, and you can be home and have a vacation if you know enough to find yourself some quiet space and some quiet time where you just have a little bit of time to yourself. And it's okay if you even did that for an hour, where you just went and found your space in your residence, wherever that may be. There's got to be a place for all of us, wherever we may be in our residence, where we can say, this is my turf, this is my territory where I come to sit down and just relax for a bit. And if your kids and spouse, hopefully your kids have, if you've got kids in the family, they know where their space is, and they know where they can go do their own timeouts, or they can go do their own, space to where they get to play in their own world. And I think it's important for all of us in the sense of dealing with the stress in our lives, whatever that may be. It could be financial, or taking care of your work and getting your job done. Or in my case, I stress every time I sometimes challenge with the laptop. We have the variety of different elements of stress in our lives, and how do we deal with those is important to us to get our cognitive functions engaged, because in memory competitions, so now I bring stress back to our memory, right? In our memories, I've watched people try to remember something when they're in a stress mode. Where did you put your keys? Might you have left your credit card at a restaurant or at a store and not picked it up and taken it, put it in your purse or your wallet? Where might I have forgotten something that I needed to pick up at the store? So I was talking with one of my colleagues today. It's funny is that he calls me up. He's on his way back home from Home Depot, and he's like, "Oh God, I just got home and I realized my wife had asked me to pick up several items. I picked up all the things for her, and I forgot what I went out to the store for." I mean, we all have those moments of where we get stressed or anxious about something, and we forget something that's important to us. So taking a little bit of time and space in your own living room, in your own bedroom, just where you just go and hide out for a little bit and find yourself in your own space. Now, if you live close to a park, getting out of the house, if you're in the Northeast right now, I do not recommend you getting out of the house unless you got one heck of a pair of snow boots, a heavy winter jacket, a pair of gloves, and a hat to keep yourself warm. But boy, my daughter lives in the Poconos, and several hours ago they already had a foot of snow. So I'm not recommending anybody go out if you're up in the Northeast. If you're in the South, maybe you can go put a light jacket on today and go take a walk and go look at some trees and listen to birds. Or I sometimes walk around ponds and I look for gators, which is another way of getting out in your own domain of living and finding a place to have what they call a staycation, meaning you stay at home, but you still find spaces and places where you can go. What I wanted to share is, in one of our memory competitions, I always remember this young man I was coaching, and I was teaching him how to go through names and faces and numbers and all of the different events that we have in our USA Memory Championship, which is really putting us to the task of how do we retain and recall information. And I had coached him through all of this, and I always remember at the end of the first event, he scored a 0, which was kind of stunning. It's like, there's no way, there's got to be a mistake. And when I had a chance to talk to him, and I said, I've been working with you on this. This is mind-boggling. What happened? And when he shared with me, when the adjudicator started the event and said, and let the competition begin, he went beep and hit the click. He froze. He went into a frozen mode, and then the competition is over. It stopped. Now you're into recall, and let that begin. Those beeps just kind of short-circuited his thinking patterns, and he scored. Couldn't recall the first string of digits in a row of 25, and so 0. Not good. But the lesson is stress can interrupt our thought patterns. So sometimes I tell people, it's not a senior moment. It's not this your mind is going off the deep end. It's what can you at least become more mindful of, so you realize that you've got something that's making a difference, that's interrupting your rational thought process, that which makes common sense, and is causing you to back up a little bit. So taking a space away in your own house as well as the others. Meditation, I think, has been written up, and all meditation is, I say all, it's just giving your mind those minutes, 15, 20 minutes, where you just bring yourself down through a mantra and you just put yourself into a different space. I know when I was going to LA Fitness prior to all these lockdowns, I'd go into the sauna, and I would sit there on a bench and I would just put myself off into another place. And I'd have those 15 minutes in a sauna that was nice and warm and toasty and a little bit of sweat, but I'd get my mind off of everything that was focused on and thinking, and just go park it somewhere and come out of there just feeling like a brand new person. What else do we want to do? Sometimes they talk about yoga. I do stretching. So at night now I do some stretching exercises where I'm doing various, stretching exercises for my shoulders or my neck. I'm doing, different kinds of things that are moving my back muscles, my neck muscles, and my hips and my thighs and my knees and ankles. And so doing any kind of physical exercise. when they talk about moving it, okay, moving into different places, just taking a walk, your physical activities, even if you got up and walked around your kitchen table, and you walk around your kitchen counter, walk from the bedroom back out to the living room, back out to the TV room or your areas of where you're relaxing, just getting up and walking about. It just changes the way of how we think about things. And research shows that if you do that for 20 or 30 minutes, it will last for hours. It doesn't just hit you and it's over as soon as you finish walking. It'll last you for hours. So this morning, I've been recovering from my second dose of my COVID vaccine. And it's taken me, it's hit me on my butt. Fatigue has been there for like 5 days. And today I just needed to get out and run this morning. So I got up and off I went. And I just come back and my morning just kind of flew by. And it was done. It was 1 o'clock before I knew it hit me. And it was a very peaceful morning and early afternoon. And that run this morning has just made such a world of difference. So what physical activity or exercise can you do? Stress is a part of life. I try to tell people stress is going to be there every day, good or bad. It's going to be there. But what's important is how we process it. How does it go through our minds? How does it tense up our muscles? How does it relieve our muscles? And are our muscles tensing when it needs to be because we're in a fight or a flight mode? Or do we tense up just because something's not working right, like my laptop, and I feel it in my jaws, chin, and my shoulders, and I can feel it, and I'm like, so how do we deal with the things that cause us to go through stress at times? Become mindful of it so you become aware of what's putting you into that stressful situation. Are you making it more than it should be? Meaning, okay, so I wanted to get on at 5 o'clock tonight. I didn't get there. I'm like a time freak a bit. I want to be punctual and on time. And I said, well, 5 o'clock hour. Well, I'm in the 5 o'clock hour, but my goodness, I wanted to be at 5 o'clock. And it was going wacky. My other half was on the phone, so I couldn't get her right away. She finally helped me, and off I am. So those are my lessons for you. We cover some of this in our Maximum Memory Mastery online course. But that Maximum Memory Mastery has got so many other tips on brain health and mnemonics for improving your memory that it's just a powerful course that's got hours of learning material that can make a difference in your life. So with that, I'm going to sign off. It's Monday evening. If you're up in the Northeast, please be warm. Please be safe. Be careful in your driving. Don't overdo your shoveling. Hopefully you've got plows or teenagers that maybe can come in and help shovel you out of your walkways and driveways and things. May your electricity stay and your water flow and your food have been stocked. And we'll see you on Wednesday evening. Hopefully a few days of no snow will help you recover and get back out of your residence and make a snowball or a snowman somewhere in a local area where you can at least pack. I don't even know if it's good packing or not, so that was one of the things. I do not miss that. As you can tell, I'm in Florida. I do not miss the snow. I see it on television. I have people I've talked to that are in the Northeast. I've had some that have sent pictures of what it looks like being up there in the snow, and all I could say is it was a little windy here in Florida today. It was 61 degrees when I ran this morning, and it was absolutely delightful. So have a good evening, and we'll see you on Wednesday.